Good afternoon. I'm going to introduce Jessica Neidenfer.
You got it.
Thank you. Jessica has been facilitating sound healing meditations and self-awareness workshops since 2007. She has studied with many teachers and shaman over the years and offers deeply transformational experiences. Her sessions involve a combination of Reiki, sound healing, and guided meditation. Jessica creates space with people to experience their self in a new and different way. The practice allows participants to feel rested, let go of what no longer serves, and be clear, centered, and grounded in their lives. I need this. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I have the lapel. I'm good. Thank you. Thank you all so much for being here. This is amazing. I've had such a wonderful day talking and connecting with so many people, and I love sharing these instruments, and I love working with sound because sound is what we are made of. Right? We are energetic beings. We're vibrational beings. Each one of our bodies is roughly 50 trillion cells, and each one of those cells is in a constant state of vibration. What is vibration? What is vibration for you? Anybody want to give their take? Yes.
Energy and movement.
Energy and movement, yeah. Vibration for you?
No, I was just speaking I can't top that in.
Right? A vibration can be frequency. Vibration is what creates sound. Vibration is what we feel when we are moving through a room, right? Because each of us is emitting our own frequency, our own vibration through our thoughts, our feelings, and our intentions. Right? You might be walking down the street and you see someone walking down and you're just seeing them kind of having a moment and you think, oh, maybe I'll let that person have their moment and I will move myself over here and allow them to feel free to have their experience and allow me to move freely on by. Right? Sound can also be worked with, or vibration can also be worked with as a focal point, right? We all got lots of screaming voices in our head. We got lots of laundry lists of things to do and lots of things that we think we should be doing with the egoic mind and the analytical mind talking to us all the time. And we can also know that those voices in our head are not us and they're not ours. We're observers of our thoughts. We're observers of the things going on in our head. It's our choice to come into what we choose, what we want to experience, not necessarily simply following them blindly. I find that the voices in my head have their own vibration too, and that they're not necessarily always productive. And sometimes those voices lead me back to my true self, which is the heart. Right? We express, we feel from that kind of gut instinct, that gut reaction or that gut feeling that we have, and that heart is where we can filter through the experiences or the feelings that we have within us, that we house in our muscle memory, or that we're having in our mind if we're reliving an experience visually. And we can work with that heart center to come back to what we're feeling and what's really true for us in that moment. Right? And sometimes music can bring us back to that. A sound can bring us back to that. A smell can bring us back to that. Sometimes a sound can feel traumatic or it triggers something within us that doesn't feel pleasant. And then sometimes with Alzheimer's patients, sound and music can bring them back to a very joyful time in their life that they had forgotten. So sound can be worked with in a number of ways. And really what it comes down to is our intention. What is our intention behind it? What is our intention behind our voice and the words that we're speaking? We are spelling into this life. We spell words. We are casting spells as we tell the story of our life here in this physical human experience. What are the words you're using? They have a vibration to them as well. What is your intention behind them? They have a vibration as well. I could be saying some very sweetly sounding things coming out of my mouth, and in my mind, I'm thinking of something very mean, and I'm thinking, why can't you just do it the way I asked you to do it in the first place? Probably not going to be hearing the sweetness coming out of my voice. You're going to feel what I'm feeling. So I pay attention to the words that I'm working with. I pay attention to how I feel as I'm sharing those words, and I also pay attention to how I feel when people are sharing with me. Lately, I've been practicing this little game. It's become a game for me to make it fun because sometimes letting go doesn't feel easy for me. Even if I can see it's not serving me anymore, it feels like something very hard and it's not serving me, but I can't let go. Or I don't want to because it might not come back. And there's that fear that comes from it, or that lack mindset of it's not enough, or it won't be enough, or I won't be enough if that thing doesn't come back or if it goes away. So lately I've been practicing this little game where as I'm interacting with people, I'm feeling into the conversation as we usually do. Like, am I feeling this? Am I not feeling this? What's going on here? And I'm looking for that moment where I feel that little twinge, or I feel that little misalignment, or something just feels a little off. And I'm practicing letting go in the moment. The moment that I feel that, immediately I'm saying, okay, this isn't aligned for me right now, or this doesn't feel right. It's not good, it's not bad, it's not right, or it's not wrong. It's simply not aligned in this moment. It's not rejection, it's not aligned. It's simply not aligned. How fast can I let it go? How fast can I say, hey, thank you so much. It was nice having this conversation. Or how fast can I let go of that third email that I want to send because I haven't gotten a response? What can I do in that moment to let go? And that's usually the question, like, how do I do that, right? People will say, oh, you meditate, you seem so calm, you do this, you do that, right? Well, how do you do that? How do you keep up that in your daily life? And so that's what I've been practicing lately, is just being aware of it, being aware of the twinge, being aware of how I'm feeling, and if it doesn't feel right for me in that moment, to remove myself, to do something different, and then decide what is that different thing. Other times, I will go take a nap to stop the momentum of the thoughts in my head that may not be helping me in that moment. Maybe I'm stuck in a story that doesn't feel good. Maybe I'm stuck in a relationship that doesn't feel good. Sometimes we're stuck in those experiences and we don't know how to get out. And sometimes the best thing to do is to go take a nap to stop the momentum of that story that we're telling in that moment. And sometimes we're not even telling the story, it's the mind telling the story because it's the pattern that it's practiced its whole life, your whole life. And so it's about what would be the best thing for me to do in this moment, and go do it. So if I have little thoughts going on in my head or experiences that I'm not wanting to experience anymore, I will go home, close the door, turn on some music, or just go lay down in bed. Sometimes that is my best option. Other times, I'll meditate. I will sit and mindfully be aware, consciously be aware of what's going on in my head. You're welcome to come up to the front. There's room up here. Come on up. And I will consciously be aware of what I'm feeling as I'm thinking these things or as I'm feeling these things, and then ask, is it true? Is it not true? How am I feeling at the end of it all? Do I really want to be in this interaction or this feeling anymore or this thought anymore? And then decide from there. Welcome. How y'all doing today? Hi. Good. Thanks for being here. So other times it's about going and getting a massage. Other times it's about going and actually having a therapy session and talking it out. Sometimes it's learning how to not tell the story after you told it the first time, because if we keep telling the same story over and over again, we're simply perpetuating that same experience. So sometimes, yes, we need to vent, get it out, see it for what it is, maybe write it out in an angry letter and then burn it and get rid of it. Maybe write it out in a gentle, loving way after we've edited it 20 times and send it to the person. That's an option too. Sometimes I find that if I do it for myself, I don't really need to do it for that person because, again, we're all these energetic beings. And we don't necessarily have to be in the room with someone in order for them to feel us or in order for us to clearly state how we're feeling and clearly express how we're feeling, even if it's not to the person. Sometimes people have died and we have unexpressed emotions, and there's obviously nothing we can do physically there. And at the end of the day, if you have had a strong thought about a friend you haven't seen or heard from for a while, and you think, wow, it'd be really great to talk to them, and then they call you 30 minutes later, that to me is the proof that we don't need to be in the physical space with that person to touch them, to connect with them, or to be present with them, or for them to be present with us. We simply are being asked to be in receiving mode. And most of us are thinking so much and overanalyzing and caught up in the human doing instead of the human being that we're not paying attention to those messages coming through, or we're just not simply aware of them because we're so caught up in the human aspect of this experience. Each of us is dealing with 4 bodies: mental body, emotional body, physical body, and our energy body, our soul, spirit, energy, whatever energy you come from, whether you call it God, source, universe, higher self, all of the above, does not matter to me. Energy is what we all are, and energy can never be destroyed. It can simply change form. It can only change form. Whatever energy has come into this quantum field that we call planet Earth cannot die. It can only change form. Meaning when your body dies, you don't leave this space and time, you simply change form in this space and time. And maybe if you believe, you go on to another space and time dimension and have another experience. I don't know, I haven't left this body yet, so when I do, I'll let y'all know. Yeah, I will. From my BlackBerry out in the sky, old school. Right? So it's simply about being aware, like, hey, there's all these energy beings and we're having these energy experiences. We're feeling into each other, right? Because when you walk into a room and someone's upset or angry, you can feel it. They don't have to tell you. When your kid walks in from a bad day, they don't have to tell you anything. You can tell by the way they're looking at you, how they're holding themselves, how they're carrying themselves. Or when your partner comes in and they just feel defeated. There's no words necessary. And actually, they're not actually looking for words from you sometimes. They're simply looking for a hug or a touch or how can I best support you? And maybe it's just space. And to know that it's not personal, if that's the answer. A lot of the work that I do in these workshops is based on Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life, and Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The Four Agreements. These two books are like Bibles for me, and by Bible I mean that as an acronym, basic instructions before leaving Earth. And I refer to them all the time. I've been doing this work for 16 years now, and I find those books to always have something helpful to share. And it's like opening to a random page. Yes, ma'am?
Can you repeat them one more time?
You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, Hay, and The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, Ruiz.
That's a book, right?
It is a book. Both of them are books.
I have that book.
Awesome. Right on. Yeah. So those two books I refer to often. And then I wrote a book called The Little Book of Tools a few years ago. That's a compilation of all that I have learned and the little tools that I practice on a daily basis that are very simple and very easy to help you stay centered and grounded throughout your day and your experiences. So to give you an example of what I see in my head as I'm doing these sessions, this is kind of a chart of the body and 7 main energy centers or 7 main areas of the body viewing by the different colors and the different numbers on there. So this is based on Ayurvedic medicine from India and Asia, thousands of years of working with sound and intention, touch therapy, Reiki, working with herbal remedies. This is all tied into this. So we work with these different energy centers as our guides. So if you went for traditional Chinese acupuncture, there are hundreds of acupuncture points on the body. You work with needles. This is the same concept, except we're working with 7 main energy centers and 7 main notes or frequencies on the musical scale. So starting at the base or at that root center, at the red space, is the key of C. Moving up into the orange space, the key of D. The key of E for our solar plexus or our power center, our expression zone. The key of E. Key of F for the heart or the green center. Key of G for the blue center or the throat. Key of A for that purple center or that third eye, our intuitive knowing, our seeing beyond this space and time, our intuition. Our unseen friends that are floating around us here, right? And tapping into that energy. That violet center at the top, our crown center, connecting to our higher self, God, source, universe, whatever that is for you. I don't believe that there is a right or wrong in this world. I don't believe there's a right or wrong answer or a good or bad way of being. There's simply a decision that we make and an experience that follows. The question is, how did you feel during the experience? Was it pleasant or unpleasant? Did it feel loving or unloving? And do you wish to continue with it or not? Keep it simple, sweetheart. Right? Kiss. Keep it simple, sweetheart. Don't make life so difficult. Take away all the labels. Simply ask yourself, how am I feeling in this moment? Does it feel aligned or is my body tensing up? Does it feel aligned? Is my body easy? It's fluid, it's moving, I'm laughing, I feel good, I feel joyful. Yeah, this feels easy. Okay, yeah, I want to keep doing this. If it doesn't, that's when I want to start being curious. That's when I want to start asking myself questions as to why. And then dig down a little bit deeper. And this chart, or these different energy centers, have different meanings. So as we do dig in, as we do feel into the sounds this afternoon when I play, I'll ask you to pay attention to what thoughts may come up in your head, not to obsess or be too concerned about remembering them. Simply be aware when they pop in. and invite them to gently drift off when you're done with them and come back into your body. And notice when that thought popped in, if it was uncomfortable, where you felt it in your body. Or if it was joyful, where you felt it most in your body as the thought came in. And then we can figure out what sound that was possibly at the end that was part of that catalyst for you. Usually we can tell by the deeper or the higher pitches. So these instruments are called crystal singing bowls. This is just a few that I have. There are 3 different types of bowls. There are metal Tibetan bowls, which is what most people are familiar with. Those have been around for 6,000, 7,000 years. They've all been used in Tibetan monasteries and in India, in temples there. And they play the same keys that these play as well. These are silicon quartz crucibles. This is a key of C. It's a 12-inch bowl. These silicon quartz crucibles, or singing bowls, were actually used in the semiconductor industry. That was their original purpose, to create computer chips. And then someone realized they made really pretty sounds and patented them to make them for healing purposes. The alchemy bowls are these colored bowls here, which are a little bit more delicate and more smooth and create a more clear tone when they're played. These will create a more vibratory sound. These will create a higher pitched treble sound. Not one is better or worse than the other. They simply provide sound in a different way. That's all. They're played with a wand. These are the 2 different types of wands I have today, but there are different kinds of strikers or wands that you can use. This is just hard rubber covered in suede, and this is a rubber head on a wooden stick. The friction between the wand and the outside of the bowl is what creates the sound. You can circumambulate or pull the sound by going around, droning. You can also strike the instrument. So those are some of the sounds that you'll hear today. For our friends on Zoom, the sounds of the bowls may not be coming through for you as clearly because I don't have mics up here hanging over them. It may come through the lapel mic a little bit. Just know that you don't need to hear them clearly to be receiving the sounds and the session. I'll do a guided meditation first to do a verbal guided meditation to create safe space in the mind with everyone. And then you will listen and or just relax. So again, if you can't hear it very clearly through the Zoom call, it's okay, no worries. That won't work now, yeah. Thank you though. Does anybody have any questions?
I do. How do we take the negative thought or energy or frequency and use it for the positive to turn it into something healthy and wholesome? How do we take the negative energy and turn it into something useful and positive, because it requires positive and negative, even to jump a car. Yeah. And so how do we take that and turn it into something positive?
Yeah, there is the duality that we experience here in the human form. And I like to remember at the end of the day when I close my eyes, I'm not this body. This is simply the vehicle that I drive around here on earth to have experiences. So for me, I look at the negative as an opportunity instead of it being something negative. And I don't really look at the positive, the negative, or the right or wrong, or the good or bad. Sometimes I have to step back, take away those labels, and look at the experience. And simply see it as, did that feel aligned for me? Did that resonate with me? Yes or no? And again, keep it simple, right? Take away the labels. Did that work for me? No. Okay, great. What would work for me in this moment? And then make a choice to go do something different. If I'm in that moment where I'm having an interaction with someone and it's not feeling very positive, I'm going to ask myself, number one, why am I feeling like this is negative? And is there something in me right now that I can be aware of that will share with me as to why I'm feeling negative about it, or I'm feeling a reaction or an adverse reaction to it? Second, I'm going to ask myself, is this person simply holding a mirror for me? And are they showing me something that I'm working on in this moment? And am I able to find some gratitude for the mirror that they're holding for me, even though I feel really uncomfortable? even though I really don't like it. And to be sure that if the negativity I'm feeling or perceiving is really negative, or it's simply showing me that there's something in me that I'm holding on to that I'm ready to let go of, or I have the opportunity in that moment to let go of, or i.e. do something different than I would have done in the past. So maybe it's an opportunity for me to look at the pattern I may be practicing in that moment, and if the pattern is serving me anymore, i.e. a pattern of anger, or a pattern of frustration, or a pattern of annoyance or irritation. And really paying attention as to why I'm choosing to feel that certain way in that certain moment. Does that make sense?
Very good.
Cool. Thank you. Anybody else?
I like to be always real positive.
Hang on, she's going to bring you the mic.
I like to be always real positive, even though with sometimes things go real, tough. And I really believe always, I say thank you, God, and everything, and my Virgencita, because I'm a Mexican.
Claro que sí.
But the thing it is, I'm always, saying, God, then what is my needs? Please give me the energy. Then they can see on my face, and I can reflect it, the message that I need to give it to them. And especially to help them. And I'm always thinking about if I go with a good attitude, with a good energy, they're going to see it. And they're going to catch it, even though I got a fluent, English, because English is my second language. And it's hard. Sometimes it's hard.
Yeah.
Okay? But I really think, it's true. You need to have something like a spiritual, then you can demonstrate to the people. Then if you can do it as an immigrant, they can do it,
Yeah.
especially because that's their country. And it's real good. It's real good to have positive things on your life. And if you have those positive thoughts, everything is going to be much better.
Yes. When we are in a loving space and we are projecting that energy out into so I like to call this, quantum physics. It's the quantum field, right? The quantum field of planet Earth that we are playing in and creating in each moment. Every thought that we have, everything that we say, we are creating. We are creating, and we are sending an intention out into that quantum field to bring it here into this physical realm. So the more loving we can be, I like to work with loving or unloving. Loving or unloving. Is this thing I'm about to do or say or be loving or unloving? Loving or unloving? And I keep that short and sweet, so that way if I'm in a situation where I'm not feeling very loving, or I do want to punch somebody in the face, because I do have those thoughts sometimes, right? Let's be real. And if I'm in that moment where I really can't find, or I feel like I can't find love or the positive in that moment, I'm going to ask myself, is this thing I'm about to do or say or be loving or not? And in that moment, I can keep that question short, and then I can do the more loving thing better, which sometimes is just removing myself. Sometimes that's the answer. So to stay more in that positive, loving vibration, it's about being an example of that, right? Because if we're being the example, we are sending that energy out into the field. And by law of attraction, what we project out is what we attract back. So it's not to say we will never feel angry. We're always going to have the opportunity to feel angry. And the question is, how long do I stay there? How long do I dwell in it? How long do I tell the story over and over and over and over again, perpetuating that which I do not wish to experience? And then pointing my finger at somebody else for making me angry when it's really me holding on to all that stuff. How long do I need to hold on to it is the question. And remembering that there's no time limit either, right? Everybody has their own experience. Some people might be angry their whole freaking life. That's okay. Let them be. That's part of us. That's part of them mirroring back to us how we can accept and allow things. Sometimes the mirrors that we hold up to each other are not exact. They are an opposite and showing us what we are here to observe, work on, let go of, invite in. Whatever it is in the moment, right? So it's simply, again, coming back to how do I feel in this moment? And yes, I do preach selfishness, because if you don't take care of yourself first, you cannot take care of others. Your cup is not full. And then you will deplete yourself, and then you will become physically ill and sick, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And that is not loving yourself. And at the end of the day, this experience is about love. At the end of the day, ask yourself, what do I want to experience? And you will say that. That's what everybody's looking for, love, acceptance, and approval. To be cared for, to be seen, to be heard. Right? And that's another reason why I like working with these instruments too, because I don't have to speak when I work with them. And you feel, or the people that I work with feel what they're expressing. And they are an expression of the channel that I am and what you, as your own channel, is requesting. So when I'm playing, I'm actually listening to how I'm feeling. I hear which instrument to play next. I don't know which one. It's not planned. It's not Mary Had a Little Lamb. I don't know how to play instruments, actually. I'm not musically trained. It's an intuition. It's a feeling. And then I listen into and I feel into the group and what will be best to share with them in that moment, verbally and or by the sounds. So I will do a guided meditation to begin, if nobody has any other questions. I'll leave time at the end. Yes, go ahead. Mike is coming.
How could we incorporate this with working with youth? I'm a school-based therapist. And how beneficial would it be, or if at all, or how do I?
Yeah. You can invite me in to do a workshop. Hi, supervisor. My name's Jessica. Nice to meet you. I can give you my card
question?
afterwards.
I'm sorry, so that our Zoom people can hear. What was the question?
I'm a school-based therapist. How can we or should we incorporate this into working with children who come in with various needs and emotional situations, et cetera?
Yeah, so again, you can invite me in, no problem. I love to come to high schools. I've been working out at Pride in Lockhart. I'm at Travis High, and I've been out to Elgin as well, working with the disciplinary side and the alternative high school. Ways that you can do this without me in the room is by playing this kind of music on YouTube in the background in your office. You can also do different techniques where you tone or you have a sound that you sing, like a chanting. You could use Om, but you could also, because that might be not something that somebody wants to do because it has some religious connotation to it or spirituality. You could also use just the vowels, A, E, I, O, U. So you could have one of these little metal bowls that you can purchase at the store for very inexpensive, maybe like $25, $30. And you could play the instrument and you can tone with the bowl together and talk about, hey, this bowl is connected to this area of your body. And even if it's not connected to that area, you can just say, hey, this bowl is connected to that area of your body because it's your intention at the end of the day, right? All you're asking them to do is focus in on that area of their body. I don't need any of these instruments to do the work that I do. Your voice is your most powerful instrument, right? So by intention, we could just play and say, okay, let's sing with this bowl or let's tone with this bowl. And I'm going to choose the sound O today. O. And then as I'm playing or as I'm only singing with my voice, I can direct or I can imagine. I don't ever ask people to see clearly. I ask them to imagine that sound in that part of their body. Imagine if you could move that sound into your diaphragm or into your stomach or into your belly button or into your right index finger, and simply get them to start focusing on different areas of their body, kind of like a body scan, right? We were talking about that earlier, weren't we? Yeah. Right, and so to get them out of the little voices in their head, right? Because that's what's going on. They're caught up in the mind when all the chatter up there. And if we can get them out of that mind and connecting into their body, into feeling, then it can help them to start to consider something different and switch up that pattern of constantly being up here or here on the screen and focus in on how am I feeling and is it okay for me to feel a certain way? And oh, this doesn't feel good when I feel into it, and yet the only way to move through it is to feel it, right? And to know that it's okay to feel the things that don't feel good. And again, coming back to, let's take care of all those labels, good, bad, right, wrong, and let's just come back to, here's the decision I made, here's the experience I had. Did it feel aligned? Did it feel easy and fluid in my body or not? And if it did not, what can I do different next time? Or is there something else I can do? And then be curious and then ask them, what could you do? What would you do? What brings you joy? Right? That's a question I ask in the workshops too all the time. I'll ask people, I bet if I asked you what you hate or what you don't like, you could give me a list of things right off the bat. And if I ask you what brings you joy, you might have to think about it for a bit. Right? So then I'll ask people to make a list of things that bring them joy or things that they're grateful for. And then to practice doing those things. Because that's really all this is, right? We practice the habit of something that makes us not feel so good. Or we practice the habit of anger or frustration or things that got us into trouble. We have this mastery of this certain pattern. It's simply practicing a new pattern to replace that old pattern. What does it take? Practice. And that's the issue, is that we don't practice, we're not consistent. We might make a commitment, but we're not consistent to it. So it's the consistency that we really want to pay attention to as well. And how can I encourage the consistency? Well, sometimes that's about us practicing consistency too. Because I notice if I ask the guys that I work with in the prison to journal every day for a week before we meet next, and I don't do it every single day, they're not going to do it because the energy that I'm putting into it is the same. And they're simply going to mirror back to me the energy and effort that I put into it. And I notice the weeks that I do every single day and I make the time, they all come in with their journals at the end of that week when we meet again. And they want to share. Oh, wow, okay. A simple action like that they have no idea whether I have written or not physically, but energetically they can feel. Right? So really paying attention to our behaviors and what we are doing as the service provider, teacher, staff example. And if we are regulated and calm and if we're taking care of ourselves, then it might be easier to work with our clients. We have to practice what we preach. Right? And not saying that's easy and that I don't do it all the time. Yeah, for sure I don't do it all the time. I'm human. That's part of this too, is not beating yourself up or judging yourself when you don't. Any other questions? Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to say on Zoom, Charlotta says, real talk, ma'am.
Right on. Thank you. So I'll also leave time at the end if you have questions, if you want to ask afterwards, whether on Zoom or outside as I'm cleaning up. That's fine. No worries. So let's do some sound healing then. I'll invite you all to close your eyes if you feel comfortable closing your eyes. If you'd like to keep your eyes open, that's okay. I'm usually laying down with my eyes closed. If you want to put your head down on the table, if that's more comfortable, you can do that too. There is no right or wrong way to experience the meditation or to receive the sounds. For my Zoom crowd, I'm going to do this guided meditation now. And again, simply focus in on the guided meditation part. And if the sounds come through, awesome. And if they don't, I have a YouTube channel you can go to after. And you can listen in there. So let's begin by connecting in with our breath. Taking a long, slow, deep inhalation in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Not leaving a space between the breath in and the breath out. In through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Continuing to breathe in this way at your own pace, in through your nose and out through your mouth. You may notice as you do not leave a space in between the breath in and the breath out that you might start to feel a little tingly or a little lightheaded. That's normal. Slow your breath if that happens. And or enjoy the tingly. And continue to be aware of your breath as it enters into your body through the nose and out through your mouth. Experiencing the expansion of the belly, torso, and chest as you deeply breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Noticing as we take ourselves out of the autopilot, out of our regular breathing pattern, proving that we are able to redirect our mind, showing that we can redirect our focus to something else. As you're breathing deeply, as you're being aware of your breath coming in and out of the body, I'll invite you to imagine tree roots sprouting from beneath you. And imagining these roots flowing deep into the center of the earth with each breath in and each breath out, deeper and deeper into the center of the earth. And imagining the feeling of roots connecting into the soil, connecting deep into the center of the earth. Feeling your feet heavy on the floor beneath you. Feeling your torso heavy on the chair as you sit. Feeling grounded and feeling the foundation beneath you, your connection. As you're being aware of your breath, as you're feeling more and more connected to this space, I'll invite you to imagine your light within. Noticing the color of your light today and how it feels to be aware of your light within. And noticing with your breath as you breathe in, how this light can expand. Maybe even allowing your light to expand outside of your body into the room. Be playful. Allow it to be. And then imagining a beautiful bubble surrounding you. A bubble of safe and sacred space. A bubble for you to experience from and within. Allowing everything outside of this bubble to be in existence, while allowing all of your focus to remain within. Noticing where you feel the sounds most in your body. Noticing if they feel pleasant or unpleasant. And breathing up and under them if you find them to feel unpleasant. To release them. To let them go. Or to hold on, that's okay too. Simply come back to your breath bubble and your roots. Being aware of your body. Being aware of any spaces in your body where you felt an opening or a release, or a simple awareness. And imagine those spaces being filled with a gold liquid light. And with each breath in and each breath out, allowing that light to move through your body, touching each and every cell of your being. Remembering your light within, honoring your light within, honoring this amazing human body you've chosen as your vehicle, honoring each and every experience that you choose. Feeling into your roots once again, feeling yourself grounded, aligned, centered, feeling your foundation beneath you, the stability and security that it brings. You are aligned, centered, and grounded, deeply rooted, deeply connected, healed and whole, as you always were, and as you always will be. Healed and whole. Taking 3 deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Breathing your way back into your body. Breathing your way back into the space. And opening your eyes when you're ready. So just noticing as you open your eyes too, how the light may look different, how colors may look a little different, how your body feels now compared to 20 minutes ago. Any awarenesses that you had in your body or of your thoughts. Does anybody want to share? Anybody have a question? I'm going to get her, and then I'll come back to you. It's okay, go ahead. Oh, no.
Oh my, definitely needed this. I feel so much release. Beautiful. I just want to say thank you.
Yeah,
as
thank
soon as I
you.
walked in, I knew this was going to be something. I just didn't know what that something was, but
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you.
That's all.
Thanks for being here. Yeah, sometimes the sounds can bring things up for us. They can let us know, like, hey, it's okay, and this is a time and opportunity to release, let go, and or simply know that you're in a safe container to feel whatever you're here to feel and to receive whatever you're here to receive. What was your name, love?
Monique.
Monique, thank you. Yes, love.
Maybe I did it wrong or.
No such thing as wrong.
Um,
Speak closer into the mic.
oh, okay. So, only thing, I was just more relaxed, more than anything. I mean, of course, everybody's bodies is different, so they
Yes.
receive, things differently with it. But for me, it was just like a little sense of peace and more relaxed.
Yeah. And do you
More.
feel relaxed throughout your day most of the time?
I do.
You do. That's
I
awesome.
keep it balanced.
Awesome.
So,
So if you were able to feel even more relaxed.
yeah. So
Awesome.
that I like to have to respect my space, and
Yeah.
my energy.
Yeah.
But that's what it was for me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. What was your name?
Actually,
Astrius? Thank you.
That was wonderful. I expected the room to be empty when I opened my eyes. But where do we buy these bowls? Will you have the name of this listed on your website, or because I need to have this not only for the school but
Yeah.
in my home.
Yeah. Yeah, I recommend everybody has a crystal singing bowl in their home or a metal bowl, whatever works best. Sometimes working with kids, it's better to have the metal bowl so they don't get broken. You can buy them on a site called crystalsingingbowls.com. The name of the company is Crystal Tones. They're based out of Salt Lake City, Utah. You don't need to purchase like the big expensive ones, like the alchemy bowls, these colored ones. They're going to run you like thousands of dollars. this,
Can you just get a regular cereal bowl?
unfortunately, it has to be quartz, right? Because the quartz is what's conducting the sound, right? So even if you use like a wine glass, if you did wine glasses with water, they have to be crystal glasses in order to make the sound. It can't be just a regular glass. These bowls here, this is the silicon quartz crucible. These are more sturdy and easier to handle around younger kids too, if you're working with children. And you can get a bowl like this for $150. You can get a smaller one for like $50, $70. So they're not as expensive. The metal bowls will run you about the same. If you're going to buy any of these, I highly recommend using Crystal Tones. They have the highest quality bowl, and they've been doing it since the beginning. They're like the forefathers of this kind of stuff. And they can mail it right to your house, not a problem. So, and if you have any questions, you can always call me and ask for some support in which one would be best for you to purchase first.
Okay.
Just knowing what you're working with, yeah. What was your name?
I'm Rochelle.
Rochelle, nice.
From here.
Awesome. Cool, I'll grab your card afterwards.
Thank you. Well, I don't have a card yet.
Uh,
I will contact and I'll take yours.
Awesome, sounds great, thank you.
Do you do this? Do you do sessions anywhere in Austin or Travis County? I know you work with schools and.
Yeah, so I have a for-profit and a nonprofit. The for-profit is Agada Energy Healing, and that's been around since 2007, and that's with the general public and individual sessions. I do group sessions in people's homes. Sometimes people will hire me for a virtual, like baby shower, they want to do something. Sometimes I'm in people's homes. It's for a birthday or it's for a gathering, whatever the intention is, and we customize that session for people. So it's like whatever their intentions are, I ask them questions, we create something together, and then we work through that and we play at the end. My passion and purpose is my nonprofit, the Adara Collective. I work with incarcerated communities, formerly incarcerated communities. I do virtual sessions with them because most of them are all over the state, and we all know how big Texas is. And then they don't have transportation, so there's a virtual space there as well. I also work with veterans and at-risk youth. So in the high schools, that's where we're with the teenagers. I prefer to work with teenagers, high school. I don't work with the younger kids, only because the attention span is not there, and they really are not cognitively aware enough yet to really tap into what it is. I did a couple of sessions over the summer just through the summer program with CIS, and I got put in a couple of elementary school settings, and I just brought a bunch of other noisemakers that they could play, and we just made noise together for an hour. And that seemed to work, but they did not like these sounds. They were not attracted to the sounds, and they did not find them soothing, or not even soothing, they just weren't even interested. When I'm working with high school kids, I have these decks of cards that they pull. Some have abstract art, some have messages, and then that helps to open up the conversation. And then we go from there. And then we talk about whatever the card brought up for them, and then I play. And that's kind of like the smoothing out period, like whatever we talked about, we brought it all to the surface, and now we clear it out. I do one public session. I live in Red Rock, which is a little small town, like 20 minutes south of Circuit of the Americas. I do one session at the community center there at the old schoolhouse once a month. This is the third Sunday at 6 p.m. So if you do live out that way, come join us the third Sunday. And I was doing a session in Lockhart at So Hum So Well, which is a new wellness co-op. They have a cold plunge sauna, they have group meetings, they have yoga, they have sound healing, and then there's an apothecary as well. So it's kind of an all-in-one stop shop. But that's really, like, I'm pretty much mobile and I come to people's places. Yes?
So we do have a question from someone watching online. What is the difference between crystal or quartz and Tibetan bowls?
Yeah. So crystal is quartz. That's the same thing. So it's a crystal singing bowl. It's made of quartz. These are crystal with other gemstones and the alchemy bowls. And then the silicon quartz bowl is just quartz and sand, right? So what it's doing is it's creating a different way of transferring the sound or sharing the sound. So like these bowls, the crystal quartz crucibles, will create a more vibratory sound or a deeper sound because of the way that they're made. But the smaller the circumference of the bowl, the higher the note or the higher the pitch will be. The larger the circumference, the larger the deeper the sound and the more vibratory it will be. The Tibetan bowls are simply a different way of sharing the frequency, that's all. Different vibration.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Very awesome. I needed that. One more quick thing. How
Yeah.
long do sessions usually run? I mean, because I could have done that for another 30 minutes.
Yeah, so I don't typically play for more than 40 minutes
40,
total.
okay.
40 minutes in the spiritual sense. It's actually a very spiritual number in most religions throughout the world. And also, when women have a child, 40 weeks is the full gestation period. And after about 40 minutes, I notice that physically, if people are laying on the ground, they start to become uncomfortable and also fidgety. And is this over yet? I got stuff to do. So there's an attention span there, and there's also staying within that sweet spot. So that way people are not annoyed when they're coming out of it, because now you've kind of lost the whole point. So,
Amazing. Thank
yeah.
you so much. I'm so glad I
Yeah,
got
thank
to be
you.
in this room.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all being here. Thank you.
Just a quick reminder, if you didn't sign in, you can sign in. There's a QR code at the back if you need CEUs, and you have to do it before the end of the session, so to get your CEUs. So anyways, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, and
And
do you have cards?
Yeah, I have
Okay.
some literature up here too. If
Good.
y'all have your phones, I didn't print out a bunch of stuff, but if you wanted to take a picture, there's just some different ways that you can do sound healing in your classrooms with your clients on your own without me and without the bowls, or with one bowl. And there's also a description here of what's happening and how it works. There's also a couple copies of my book, some free bookmarks, and my card with my information. Thank you so much.
Very lucky. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.